This is a horrifying story from Amstetten, Austria, where a man committed unthinkable crimes against his own daughter. On August 28, 1984, 18-year-old Elisabeth Fritz suddenly disappeared from her home. Her family initially thought she might have gone somewhere on her own. However, when weeks passed without any news, her parents reported her missing to the police. A few weeks later, a letter arrived claiming that Elisabeth had grown tired of her family and had run away to join a religious cult. The police believed this story as her father, Josef Fritzl, supported it, saying that Elisabeth had previously spoken about joining such a group. But the truth was far more sinister. Josef himself had kidnapped his daughter and locked her in the basement of their house. On the day of Elisabeth's disappearance, Josef asked her to help him install a new door in their basement. When Elisabeth entered the basement and held the door in place, Josef locked it and knocked her unconscious with an ether-soaked towel. By the time Elisabeth regained consciousness, she was trapped in a small windowless room in the basement. This would become her prison. For the next 24 years, Josef began abusing Elisabeth in unimaginable ways. Ha repeatedly sexually assaulted her and threatened to kill her if she ever tried to escape. Elisabeth's life became a living nightmare. 2 years into her captivity, she became pregnant but miscarried after 10 weeks. In 1988, she gave birth to her first child, Kerstin. 2 years later, she had a son named Stefan. Both children lived with Elisabeth in the basement, never seeing sunlight or experiencing life outside. Josef would bring them food and water once a week, but their lives were confined to the dark, damp basement. Over the years, Elisabeth gave birth to 7 children. Josef took 3 of them upstairs to live with him and his wife Rosemarie. To conceal his crimes, he staged elaborate discoveries of the children, leaving them on the doorstep or in bushes near the house, along with forged letters supposedly written by Elisabeth, claiming she couldn't care for them. Rosemarie, unaware of Josef's actions, raised the children as her own. One child tragically died shortly after birth, and Josef burned the body in the basement furnace. In 2008, Elisabeth's eldest daughter, Kerstin, who had lived her entire life in the basement, became critically ill. Elisabeth begged Josef to get medical help for Kerstin. Reluctantly, Josef agreed and took her to the hospital. Hospital staff became suspicious of Kerstin's condition and background. When the police were informed, they began investigating Josef. Under pressure, Josef eventually released Elisabeth and her remaining children from the basement after 24 long years. Elisabeth immediately went to the hospital to see her daughter and revealed the truth to the authorities. She told them how her father had abducted her at the age of 18, kept her locked in the basement, and abused her for 24 years. Josef Fritzl was arrested and later sentenced to life imprisonment for his crimes. Elisabeth and her children were taken to a secure, undisclosed location to begin a new life. Elisabeth has since remarried and is now living peacefully with her children, but the trauma of her past remains an unerasable part of her story. This tale is a horrifying reminder of the extent of human cruelty, but it is also a testament to resilience and the hope of finding light even in the darkest moments. Elisabeth and her children were taken to a secure, undisclosed location to begin a new life. Elisabeth has since remarried and is now living peacefully with her children, but the trauma of her past remains an unerasable part of her story. This tale is a horrifying reminder of the extent of human cruelty, but it is also a testament to resilience and the hope of finding light even in the darkest moments.